So retiring at the perfect time in your life can mean several different things depending on your priorities. First, does it mean that you're in great health and you have a healthy routine and it's just, the right time to retire? Does it mean that you've reached your financial goals and, that you are going to be comfortable in retirement knowing that you're not going to, outlive your money? Does it mean that in your career that you've hit that goal, that you're at that stage where you can leave it to somebody else and you've met all what you feel are the obligations that you had at work or in your business? Or does it mean that you've achieved all your goals in raising your family and, building a life and a home? So those are all different things that having the perfect retirement can mean. And generally speaking, it's going to mean, more than just one of those. It's going to be two or maybe all four. And trying to achieve all those at the same time can really send you into a tailspin and make you end up working much longer than you really need to. I'd like to pause the video for just a minute and ask you if you'd go down into the comments and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what stage you're at in your retirement and which four of these things that you think might be holding you up from going ahead and pulling the trigger on retirement. So for many of us, and probably the most common, is, when we first get fairly serious about thinking about retirement and getting a retirement plan done, and trying to pick out at what age that we're going to be able to do it, we're generally in pretty good health or, as healthy as we can be at that point in our lives. But financially, we may not be as healthy as we want to be. And I think that holds a lot of people back is you take a look at that, you have these preconceived numbers in your head of how much money you need to go ahead and be able to retire. The 4% rule is one of those where you can look at it and you can say, oh boy, I'm going to need, $2 to $3 million to retire comfortably. When if you actually get a custom retirement plan done, it may be much less than that. So that's the first one, is you may be in pretty good health, but financially you don't feel like you can get there. And for others, it may be that they have career goals that they haven't met yet, or they have their own business and they want to get that business to a certain status before they leave. And that can be one that will keep people working longer, is not achieving all those goals that they wanted to at their place of employment. And yet another one is not achieving the goals that you have in your life. Maybe, your kids, maybe you had children a little later in life and they're not ready yet, or you have siblings or parents who are still dependent on you and you're having to stay working to help support those other people in your life. So I was actually pretty fortunate. After having some heart complications in my 50s, I had a defibrillator implanted and a pacemaker, and so my health is in pretty good shape now. I'm 62 right now. I was 61 when I retired. So I had that going for me, that I was probably as healthy as I was going to be based on the condition of my heart and some other things. Financially, we had come out of the pandemic, and as you know, once we came out of the pandemic, the stock market came back and we did pretty good. Plus, when I retired in the first part of 2024 was an election year, and an election year is generally pretty good for the stock market. So it helped kind of kickstart my retirement and give me that first year feeling a little more confident. So financially, I wasn't in too bad a shape. In my career, in my job, I had been moved into a different position, as I mentioned, where I was doing a lot more statistical data. I was writing procedures. I had just finished up a reliability, procedure, which took a long time to put together, and had gotten that done. And they had just announced a bunch of big changes that weren't going to be real great in my skill set for my position. So really, as far as the career went, it was a good time to go ahead and hand this off to somebody who had that more engineering type skill set. Because I'm really not an engineer. I was a field guy, So that worked out pretty good that they could make those changes and I could hand those reins off to somebody who had a better skill set at doing those things than I did. And also at that time, my children were doing fine. We didn't have any other financial obligations to anybody in the family and still don't. So we're fortunate of that. All of our kids are older, they're doing great, and everybody is self-sustaining. So, it wasn't perfect timing by any means, but really it kind of aligned for me pretty well that I could go ahead and retire last year. So hey, I hope this video's helped you out a little bit. And if it has, I'd appreciate it if you'd reach down, hit that like button, and watch this video next.